Bonjour, class. Okay, for week 7, we're going to be starting vocab 4, which is a new vocab sheet in your binder, and it's all about finding out more about you. So, personal ID questions is what we call it. So, personal identification. So, like telling you your name, your address, that kind of stuff, like things you like. All right, so I'm just going to talk about all the questions first. All right. Comment t'appelles-tu? We've seen that one before. That one means, what's your name? So, comment t'appelles-tu? It literally means, how do you call yourself? But that's a little awkward for us in English, so we just say, what's your name? De quelle nationalité es-tu? Hopefully, you can see that nationalité is a cognate, nationality. So that would be, what's your nationality? So even if there's just one word that you know, you might be able to figure out the whole question from one word. Où habites-tu? All right, see this habite? Doesn't it kind of look like habitat? And a habitat is where somebody or an animal lives. So, où habites-tu means, where do you live? The next question is, d'où viens-tu? And it's similar to où habites-tu because they have an où. Où means where. So, d'où viens-tu means, where do you come from? Like, where are you from originally? So, I would say that I live in Avon, but I come from Buffalo because that's where I'm from originally. So, d'où viens-tu is, where do you come from? Où habites-tu is, where do you live right now? Quel est ton numéro de téléphone? There's a lot of cognates in that, right? So, number of telephone. So, what is your phone number? Quel est ton adresse? Another cognate, adresse. This one means, what's your address? As-tu des frères ou des sœurs? All right, so frère is brothers, sœur is sisters. And yes, that O and E are supposed to be together. It's something in their language. There's a few words that have it, and it's supposed to look like that. So what I tell kids to remember frère, it's like, you might have heard the song Frère Jacques, and it's brother John or brother Jack. And you might have also heard of a fraternity. Fraternity and frère have the same base, and a sorority and sister have the same base. So frère is brothers, sœur is sisters. So do you have any brothers or sisters? As-tu means, do you have? As-tu des frères ou des sœurs? Do you have any brothers or sisters? The next question also starts with as-tu, and then you see the word animal, domestique. So domestic animal, we call a pet. So do you have a pet? You could also just say, as-tu un chat? Do you have a cat? As-tu un chien? Do you have a dog? As-tu un lézard? Do you have a lizard? So you can also just ask what specific animal it is. Quel âge as-tu? Does everyone see the word âge there? So it's about age, and it means, how old are you? Word for word, it says, what age have you? Which doesn't sound like anything we would say. So they want to know what age you are, kind of, and we say, how old are you? Quelle est la date de ton anniversaire? Date is a cognate for date, and anniversaire sort of looks like the word anniversary. Well, it looks like anniversary, so it's sort of a false cognate. It's a yearly thing, but it's not a wedding anniversary. It's your birthday. So they would say a wedding anniversary is anniversaire de mariage, anniversary of the marriage. So this one is just, when is your birthday? Quelle est la date de ton anniversaire? Quelle profession es-tu? That's, what's your profession? Does everyone see profession right there as a cognate? Qu'est-ce que tu étudies? You've seen étudier before. Do you remember it means study? So this is, what do you study? So pretty much when you want to say, like, what's your profession on this last one, you guys are all going to say that you're a student. I would say je suis professeur. You would say je suis élève. Élève means student. It sort of looks like the word 11 in English, but we know 11 is not 11. We know 11 is 11. So an élève is a false cognate. It means student. So you would answer je suis élève. So then if someone finds out you're a student, they might ask you, qu'est-ce que tu étudies? What do you study? Now, it seems like we study a lot of the same things in junior high, but when you get to college level, everyone studies something different because they have a different major in college. So my major in college was French and Spanish, but other people might have had, like accounting, or they might have been a pre-med, to be a doctor, or they might went for law. So qu'est-ce que tu étudies is what do you study? Qu'est-ce que tu aimes faire? Remember this qu'est-ce que from the time before? That's what. And this one is qu'est-ce que tu aimes faire? What do you like to do? So aime means like, and faire is to do. So what do you like to do? And you would answer j'aime, I like, and then an activity. So like nager is to swim. So j'aime nager is I like to swim. J'aime étudier. I like to study. J'aime danser. I like to dance. Okay. And then como A2 is kind of a tough one. People have a tough time remembering this one. Como A2 is how do you describe yourself? So, like, give me a comment to describe yourself. So, for example, you might answer je suis, I am, grand, for tall, je suis intelligent, for intelligent, je suis artistique, I am artistic. So, como A2, give me a comment that describes you. How do you describe yourself? All right, so those are the questions. And then there's some that just ask which specific thing that you like. So, quel animal préfères-tu? Is what animal do you prefer? Kind of like what's your favorite animal? And we know some cognate animals so far, right? So, je préfère les chiens, les chats, les zèbres, les girafes is how you could answer that. Quelle nourriture préfères-tu? Do you remember the word nourriture? It was on vocab 1 on the cognates, and it looks like nourishment or nutrition. So it means what food do you prefer? So quelle nourriture préfères-tu? You could look on your cognate sheet. Je préfère la pizza. Je préfère les tacos. Je préfère les carottes. So you could say what food you prefer. Quelle couleur préfères-tu? Now, we really haven't had a lot of colors. That's actually going to be in vocab 5. So if you look on vocab 5, you'll see on the back, there's lots of colors. So, quelle couleur préfères-tu? What color do you prefer? I could say, je préfère le bleu. Je préfère le vert. You guys know what vert is because you're the vert class, right? All right. Quel film préfères-tu? What movie do you prefer? So they say film for a movie. And you could say, je préfère le film The Avengers. Je préfère le film Ratatouille. Je préfère le film Finding Nemo. Whatever you want to say for the movie that you prefer. And you would just say the movie in English because the movie is in English. All right. Quel sport préfères-tu? Is what sport do you prefer? And we have a bunch of sport cognates on our vocab 1. So, je préfère le football américain. Je préfère la crosse. Je préfère le hockey. Je préfère le baseball. Okay? All right. So, we went from all the questions on these pink slides, right? Now we're going to see if we can figure out which one would make most sense. Quelle classe préfères-tu? So, it's multiple choice. Le football, l'histoire, and Rocky. So, Rocky's the name of a movie. So, what class do you prefer? It would be l'histoire. Okay, so I'm just kind of showing you this in action. Quel âge as-tu? So, what age are you? So, you have j'ai 11 ans, j'ai 100 chats, j'ai un frère. So, they all say I have. This one says I have 11 years. I'm 11 years old. This one is silly. I have 100 cats and I have a brother or one brother. All right, so j'ai 11 ans is the best answer. Comment t'appelles-tu? Now, we've seen this one before, and it literally means how do you call yourself? So, what is your name? Je m'appelle Luc is the best answer. Okay. We had that other one that just said comment es-tu, and that was how do you describe yourself? This one's a little different. How do you call yourself? Quel sport préfères-tu? So, which one of these is a sport? La pizza, le volleyball, le verre. Le volleyball is the right answer. Qu'est-ce que tu aimes faire? What do you like to do? So this is like. So don't you think it's going to start with I like, right? So j'aime voyager. I like to travel. So what do you like to do? I am artistic describes you. So it doesn't really say, if it was I like to draw, that would be different. So I am artistic. I come from Buffalo and I like to travel. So that third one is the best one. I like to travel. Comment es-tu? Here's the one. Give me a comment about you. How do you describe yourself? So the first one, je suis sportif. I am athletic is the best one. J'habite à Avon means I live in Avon. J'aime nager is I like to swim. D'où viens-tu? Where do you come from? Do you notice how viens is in the question? You need a viens in the answer. So where do you come from? This one says, I am American. Je suis américain. J'habite à Avon. I live in Avon, and I come from Florida. So these all might be true. I am American. I live in Avon, but I come from, and that's what the question's asking. Quelle couleur préfères-tu? What color do you prefer? So we got to pick the one that says a color. Le violet is the one of a color. Les maths is math. La nourriture chinoise is Chinese food. All right. Our assignment for the week. This was the little symbol that's on the sheet. Bonjour, je m'appelle Rémi. Et toi, comment t'appelles-tu? Salut, je m'appelle Ratatouille. So hopefully you know this movie, right? So when I click on it, it goes to the weekly assignment. And I'm showing you here like kind of a preview. So you know that you have 6 different parts to do. Some kids are not seeing like certain parts, so I want to make sure that you see that. If you see green, you have to put an X or answer. This is the weekly video check-in that you're doing right now. So when you're done watching this, you put an X. Then you're going to start right in with Quizlet and personal ID. So vocab 4, remember I always attach it. It's in your binder in your yellow sheets. But if you forgot it or something, you could always access the vocab 4 by clicking that. And everything that's on here is going to be in the Quizlet set. So when you do your Quizlet, at first, the questions only, you're going to do the flashcards, and you're going to do them in order and try to guess what they mean. Really take your time with your flashcards, okay? So here's one. As-tu un animal domestique? Is?
Do you have a pet?
Right? So do you have a pet?
As-tu un animal domestique?
You're going to do this 1 through 20.
Comment t'appelles-tu?
And keep doing them all the way to the end. When you finish it, you're going to put an X on the line for regular done. Then you're going to go back to the Quizlet flashcards and click shuffle.
Quelle profession es-tu?
You really need to have the audio on, remember, right? So when you go to the options, you want audio on, answer with English. All right, this is the best thing for you to learn is using these Quizlet because it helps you know what they mean.
What is your profession? Quelle profession es-tu?
But then you also hear a really good French accent. So that is the first part, which is flashcards questions only. Then I have flashcards with answers only. So you're going to notice these don't have question marks. They're all the statements. So je m'appelle Lucie means?
My name is Lucy.
So don't forget when you go to options, you want to answer with English, audio on. Once you've finished going through them one time, you put an X in the line here, and then you go back to them and shuffle.
Je suis élève.
Okay. Oh, we talked about this in the video. Je suis élève is not I am 11. It means
I am a student.
I am a student. So when you finish with those, you put an X on the shuffle. Then there's a 33 multiple choice test. And for you to get credit for Quizlet, you need to do the flashcards, and then you need to take this multiple choice test. So 33 questions. When you're done, you're going to get a percentage score here. I need you to take a screenshot of this and submit it as part of your assignment so that you can get credit so I know for sure that you did it. So it shows you about taking a screenshot. If you don't know how to do it, here's a click here. But hopefully last week you figured it out. So if you get in a 100, you get a 10. If you're in the 90s, you get a 9 out of 10. If you're in the 80s, you get an 8 out of 10, and so on. All right, so you can put the screenshot here, or you can attach it to the assignment up in the top where it says add, or when you add something to it. All right, so the first 2 things are done after you finish that, the video and the Quizlet. Then if you notice, part 3, there's a little conversation interview, and I interview a very famous teacher. And you need to watch the whole thing. Bonjour. Okay. And then you're going to answer questions. Who was interviewed? So you're going to write the name of the person I interviewed. Where does she live? So you have to write these answers in English. Okay. And everything is said in there pretty clearly. So you have to make sure you're listening for that. And you can watch it several times. When you're done with that, hopefully you're feeling more confident with how to answer these questions with vocab 4 and everything we've done so far. You're going to make a Flipgrid video in which you say 5 statements about yourself for vocab 4 in French. No questions, just the answers, and no Google Translate. I want you to type the 5 statements here. They have to be from vocab 4. And then you click here, and I will show you, an example. So you join with Google, and there's a little thing about how to do it. So watch that whole thing. Step 1 is brainstorm your 5 statements before you record a response. You can practice the pronunciation with Quizlet, right? And then make sure you make the Flipgrid by clicking record response. I had Miss Ross make one too as an example, and I did another example. So I have the examples for you, and when you're ready, you do record a response. No one will see this but me unless you say it's okay for me to share it, okay? But I really don't share it unless you're okay with it. And you would click that here, X on yes or no. We have 2 sheets for the worksheets, number 11 and 12, and I show the explanation here. You can either make a Flipgrid or you can insert the pictures here or to the assignment. I'm not going to check them in class anymore. I'm going to check them only through the assignment. We will go over them in class, but it seems confusing when some people submit it with the assignment, some people don't. So I want everyone to submit it with the assignment, please. The last part is 50 XP in Duolingo for this week. It starts on Monday, today, and ends on 10/25. So even if you did 50 last week, this is a new 50, okay? So you have to do it through lessons to get credit. If you do finish your 50 XP, you might want to play around with stories, okay? All right, guys, I hope that's explained pretty well and you understand what to do for the week. Have a great week. Bye-bye.